now. If we have enough demand, I think we'll just open it up for and we can take it.
Can learn on your computer now and have everything being recorded like turned around there so that we can refer back to it later and we have it on our own private YouTube so that if we need to refer back to it during the school year, is the house such and such.
Couldn't you do something like this with your kids? Like bingo about something? I like games. Games are fun. I don't even need to win. I just like have fun. Yes, ma'am. You can definitely use those for different things. Yeah, so you can use OneNote for taking notes. That's also my mistake, so that should be up there. We're going to talk about how to use notes with OneNote today, so that'll be important.
We're going to talk about Publisher. Sorry, not Publisher.
Good question. So I got a question about Publisher. Publisher is a Microsoft tool that is in the computer. For whatever reason, I don't know why they haven't added it to the cloud applications, but we are going to offer some classes about Publisher.
Okay.
In Publisher, you can create flyers or brochures. You can do some of that in Word as well, but the features in Publisher are just a little bit bigger. It's got a key on it. Again, it won't be in your Office 365, but you might find it in your programs. Yes, ma'am.
Was it a workshop?
We have not had the forms workshop yet.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actually the kickoff of all of our good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So again, like I said, today we're going to talk about OneNote. Okay. And let's talk about OneNote, what it actually is, because I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, so I can just put OneNote in it, and I'm done. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? That's really, really important to me. So how many of you ever had a sit down, I've got my notebook, I've got my binder, I can't find it. Come on, only 3 of you? How many? Oh, there we go. How many of you? Yeah, and that's the face you make, right? You're like, come on, now I thought you did that yesterday. Where'd it go? Right? How many of us have had this before? A lot of us. So what OneNote is, it's a digital binder for the user. Okay? It's a digital binder for the user. We'll talk about the different users and maybe why we could use it this way, or this way in just a minute. But to sum it up in one word, it's a digital binder. Okay, that's 2 words. Digital binder. Okay? So one way you can use OneNote is for personal use. Okay? It's kind of hard to see here, but I have created a OneNote for myself. Being new to the district, there's a lot of information that's going on. A lot of information, a lot of updates. We're in a lot of meetings. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I create a section for each one of my topics, and we'll talk more about this, okay? I create a section, and then in those sections, I have pages. So your sections are like your labels. Okay, your sections are like labels. Okay. So you can create one just for personal use. I have a label for just professional development that I give. I have a second label for all of my meetings. I have a second section for professional development that I attend. My PD sometimes looks different than the ones I give, right? So I need those different sections, okay? You can also use this personally. My dad's kind of a tech dork. A lot of us are in our family, so we have our cookbook in OneNote. So each section is appetizers, drinks, side dishes. So if you want to think of it that way, okay? And then in each section, you have pages. And I'm going to open OneNote with you. We're going to go through this together, and I'm going to give you time to kind of play around and practice yourself, all right? So this is one way that you can use OneNote for yourself. The next way to use this is a staff notebook. And I'll show you exactly where to find this in your Office 365. So maybe you say, hey, I think this is wonderful. I'm going to tell my principal that I want a staff notebook. Maybe you're an administrator and you want to create a staff notebook yourself. But in this staff notebook, I have a collaboration space. This collaboration space is for anybody in my OneNote. Okay? So I'm a first grade teacher. I want to connect with a fourth grade teacher so we can be book buddies. I can do that in my collaboration space. We're the hospitality team. We're the math team. We're the whatever kind of team you want. You can do that in your collaboration space. Okay? You also have a content library. So I want to go ahead in my content library and I want to put an agenda for parent night. Or in the content library, I want to put the rules for how to use technology. Or in my content library, I want to share the reading log for March, with March's reading log. Or in my content library, I want to share the syllabus for my Math 2 class, or my Algebra class, with all the other Math 2 or Algebra 2 teachers in the building.
So when you have a self-contained content library, is there a way where you can see that you have edited, like,
Yep.
I don't have a signature or?
OneNote is a live, real notebook. Okay? So when we go into it, when we go into some of these features, you're going to see where I have a OneNote book, and I have added Bronson to my notebook. So him and I can sit in the same professional development and take notes. Or I can have 3 students in OneNote on a page in OneNote, and they're working together in groups. Or I can have a kid in row 1 and in row 3 working on the same document on page 2. We will get there. I know. That sounds great. How do we get there? We'll get there. All right? And the last one is private notebooks. So for every person who joins the staff notebook gets a private notebook. So now you and your principal can have conversations in your private notebook. If they want to check your lesson plans, or if you say, listen, I've got something that I need you to see behavior-wise, or I want you to check something else. Anything you want to do, you can have a private notebook. And that administrator has that private notebook. So this is if you want to use a staff notebook in your school. The next one is class notebook. So I can use this with my class. Class notebook supports collaboration between peers, just like I talked about. So a kid in group 1 or in row 1 can collaborate with someone in row 3 and row 4. They can talk to each other, either in a section or in a page. It allows content to be shared from teachers to students. So one of the activities which you'll have a chance to play around with and work with is, what if I set up a notebook? It's one notebook, it's 2019, 2020. And I decide to make sections for math, reading, science, social studies. Maybe you want to make a second one for reading groups. You decide. Okay? Then when the fall comes and you have your class list, you can share this to the students. So it allows collaboration. It's real time with collaboration as well. So if you and I are on the same page in OneNote, and I start typing, all of a sudden I'll see a little picture of a person, and I'll start to see typing. It means you and I are in the same document, we're working in the same place. Okay? It's a lot like Google Docs. Microsoft Office 365 and Google Docs, they're competitors. Everything Microsoft can do, not all of Google can, but anything Google can do, Microsoft can. It's like Android and Apple, right? They can do a bunch of the same features. There's a few features up everybody's sleeve that are a little bit different, but they work very similarly. Exactly. That's a great example. And the last one is the tools for learning. Okay, I'm going to specifically show you tools that I think are really important when using OneNote or using OneNote in your classroom, right? So we're going to go over how can you share a section or a page with students. We're going to talk about why you might use a file over a handout. and you guys are gonna be like, what is she talking about? We're gonna get there. This is new to a lot of us, okay? But those are gonna be some of the things that we're gonna talk about next. And some of these engaging tools, you don't have to add extensions. Office products marry very well together, okay? So I can easily insert, and we'll get to the file, but I can add an Excel file. I can add a Word file. I can add a PDF. I can add a sway. So maybe I need a sway all about the rock life cycle for my, sorry, I was a fourth grade teacher, so you get a lot of elementary terms, sorry. Okay, if I make a sway all about the rock life cycle, I can embed my sway right here in a notebook. And then at the bottom, either have my kids answer questions or fill in the blanks. I can have them type in my answers, or I can even insert a form for them to do. So the possibilities are endless. You don't have to do all that fancy stuff right off the bat, but you have a lot of opportunities to use this tool in your classroom or for yourself, or even for your own professional learning. So who's excited about OneNote? Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear everybody. So who's excited to learn more about OneNote? Yeah! That's what I like to hear. Yes, ma'am.
So what's the difference between the OneNote and Teams?
Great question. How many of you ever used Google Classroom or know what Google Classroom is? I won't tell. It's okay. Put your hands up. Okay. So that Google Classroom and Teams are equivalent to each other for talking to Google and Microsoft. Teams is a space that you can do a lot of the same things. You can have you'll have a files for library. You can send assignments and notes to your students. We'll look at the difference. It's more of a class platform. So for instance, I can have something that shows up and says, there's an announcement. Please bring your materials for the project on Friday. Please bring your money on Wednesday for a field trip. You can send announcements and all of your kids are in a team. When you have a team, it automatically, you make a classroom team, because teams can be used for schools. You've seen them in some of your professional development. I'll walk you through some features of teams. It automatically creates, if you use it as a classroom, a OneNote notebook for you. So a lot of people are in teams and they go to the top and it says a notebook and they're like, what is this? Because OneNote is embedded in Teams. It's like the family room inside of Teams, right? Everything can kind of go right there. So you can set up your OneNote and link it to a team. Or when you create a team, you automatically get a OneNote notebook. So then you could go ahead and start setting up that OneNote notebook. But now you'll know what to use it for, or why you use it. I've seen some teachers use OneNote where the kids use it. They don't send them stuff. The kids just make an assignment, they stay organized, they send everything through Teams. And I've got some teachers who I've seen where they will send everything through OneNote. And in Teams, they'll just say, please go to section science, or your science section, and on page 3, labeled annual adaptations, there's an assignment for you, and you need to go there. Okay? I've seen some teachers who will put into Teams an announcement. Your forms is due today. So depending on where you put your form, whether it's right there in Teams or in your one-to-one notebook, you know where to go. Okay? I think it'll make a little bit more sense when you can actually see what it looks like, right? All right. So we're going to look at OneNote first, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to get to a one. You know what? Wait, let me show you how to get to a OneNote notebook first. Oh, fail. All right, so how do we get to OneNote? Let's start there and then we'll go through OneNote together. There are a couple ways to get to OneNote. I'm going to just be honest with you, because otherwise you're going to say, she said to go here and I found it here. What is she talking about? I'm going to show you today the way I would recommend most people to go for OneNote. I think it's the easiest. One reason why is because when you log in the morning, you're going to go straight to your email. Okay? And if you don't know that, that's in Hub. You click on your Office 365. On the top right of your email, it's got all those little dots that looks like a waffle. I call it the digital waffle. Some people just call it the app icon. And when you push that, all of your Office 365 products come down here for you. So earlier, if you said, well, where do I find Teams or Sway or some of those other things I wanted to know, they all show up here as well. Now, we're going to go to OneDrive, and here's why. OneDrive is a digital file cabinet. So if you've ever pulled open a file cabinet and people just have thrown stuff in the file cabinet, it's not organized. I don't know what it is. I don't know where to find it. I just, what is it? Okay? So in OneDrive, you can use this new button right here and click New, File, and I would make one for notebooks. Okay? I can make one for notebooks. I've seen some teachers make multiple notebooks for classrooms. I've seen it. But I've seen a lot of teachers who will say, one notebook is enough. I don't want to go into a different notebook every time I want to send an assignment, right? It kind of depends on what you're teaching, okay? I like to stay organized in my OneDrive. It helps me wrap my head around all the things I'm going to do. So if I make a folder here that says notebooks, when I open that, all of the notebooks that I have. So we have a team one here for the instructional solutions team. I've got a notebook in there. I've got the one that I made for my personal use. And then I've got a class one, so I created that one. Okay, but now I know every time I need to go to a notebook, I can go there. Okay? Every time I want to go to a notebook, it's right there.
So when you say new, you can organize ones that you already have.
You can organize ones you've already had. Let me show you exactly what I mean in my OneDrive. Oh, it is. Can I borrow your corner? Wonderful. Really? It is being temperamental. See, it's not just you that technology doesn't work for sometimes.
So it's not just me, it's my two.
Yours is probably updating. If you haven't turned it on in a while, it's probably updating. So here's my OneDrive. All right. I've got all these different folders. If I go to new here, I can go to a Word document, so I can create a Word document right here in the cloud. I can do the same thing for Excel, PowerPoint, and right there you see the OneNote notebook. Yes, ma'am. Yep, we're going to talk about how to move them to a folder in just a second, because I think that's important. Absolutely. Okay, so this is how I would open a notebook, right? Now, a lot of you probably know, or maybe not, but Microsoft has everything in the cloud, but you can also use it on your desktop. So some of you might go to your Start menu, and in Programs, you'll say, well, I've got Word right here on my desktop. I don't need to go here. And you can do that. You can take your OneDrive and add it as a file in your files. So every time you're saving something, you can say, I want to take it to my OneDrive. And I don't want to just save it anywhere in my OneDrive, but I want to save it in OneDrive under Notebooks or in OneDrive over however you want. Okay? If you feel it would be more beneficial, later today when we're working on OneNote, if you think, you know what, I'd rather clean up my OneDrive first before I tackle it, you are welcome to do so, okay? So you can create a folder, all right? Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm just wondering, so some of my Word documents, some of the documents I have, when I put it into OneDrive, it messes up the format.
So it's trying to figure out the difference between your desktop and the online.
Yeah. So,
It should self, format once it kind of gets acclimated to what it's using. That's one thing. The other thing too is just really noting the difference between the two. We're having conversations about this now as we speak. I personally like the desktop version for everything, but if I'm at a different computer, I want all my stuff, so I just log into OneDrive and can use it online, right? But not everybody's comfortable with that. You have a lot of the same features, but there are a few features missing on the online version.
right, so I just save it to the OneDrive, but then I open it back up in the Word on the computer.
Yeah, and does it self-fix for you sometimes, or no?
And when I bring it back to the desktop version,
Yeah.
then it's but if I edit it in the OneDrive area, it screws things up. So
Okay.
I can't edit when it's in the OneDrive, so.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let me
can't
take a
even
look at
edit
what
in
you're
the
doing.
OneDrive.
Right. So say, look over here. I've got some of these documents here that they don't have a home for. I'm guilty. But I'm just throwing them out. I got things to do. So if I hover over a document, it'll tell me what it is. It's a PDF. It'll show me how many times I've viewed it, or somebody else viewed it. And I get this little circle here. So I can click on that little circle and it'll select it.
Mhm.
Now notice my toolbar changed because I've got something selected. Okay?
Mm.
I can go through and find other PDFs or Word documents and select all of the documents I want. When I do that, it says move to or copy to.
Mhm.
If I move it, I'm permanently moving it to its own little folder at home. Done. Permanently moving it. If I make a copy of it, it'll keep this here floating in Neverland. And it'll take these two and just copy them to whatever folder I want to put them in.
That's the better move.
Well, why would I want to copy and why would I permanently want to move something? Right? Like at first it's like, why would I have those two features? If I sit next to a teacher and we create a Word document or a PowerPoint or whatever it is, if I share it to another teacher and she edits my PowerPoint, she's changed the original document,
Mhm.
which some of you might want to do, right? I'm a principal, I'm an assistant principal, we're going to change stuff for the staff meeting, whatever, that's fine. But if you don't want anybody to touch the original document, you move a copy, okay? So you might want to create a folder for you and your teammates so that anything that ends up in that folder, you can take, move, share, copy, change it up. Everybody on our team has their own OneNote presentation. And then I just make a copy of it and I add animation to it, or add a Bitmoji to it, or add sound to it. Some extra like that, I want to make it different, right? So there's a difference between moving it permanently to a home in a folder and moving a copy. When you move a copy, you'll have one here and one in whatever folder you put it in. Yes, ma'am.
At the top of mine, I noticed mine says new, upload, share, copy, link, flow. Yours says downloaded, device, move.
It's because I have two things selected.
Okay.
So when
Mm.
you have one thing selected, you get a toolbar, right? It asks asks me what I wanna do. Do I wanna download it so I can open up in the desktop version? Do I wanna delete it? Do I wanna share it?
So that's my files that you're talking about, when I select one of those, that, like, it's on files, and then I have all these documents and stuff down here, when I select one, okay.
When you select one, this is what your toolbar looks like.
Okay, I see it.
If I select two,
Uh-huh.
it only gives me a chance to download both, delete both,
Okay,
copy it to a new home,
okay,
or make a copy and put it in a new place.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. So you can go to that OneNote just by getting it right here from your Office 365. Okay? And that's a good place to start. Okay? There's also a desktop version. Okay? You'll find a lot of the same features on the desktop version that you'll find in the web version. Okay? A lot of the same features. Some people prefer the desktop over the web. You need to find what you like better and check them both out. Here's the only slight little feather ruffle with OneNote. There's two of them. So
Oh.
OneNote has the OneNote 2016. It's got an old icon. The old icon looks like this, just like the old Word and PowerPoint and Excel all have. If you open the OneNote 2016, you will have a different toolbar than the one I will show you today. Okay, I'll say it again. If you open a OneNote 2016 icon, you'll open it, you'll have your stuff there, but your toolbar will look different. How do I get the new one then? Well, you can A, use it just in that OneDrive, how I showed you, where you can hit your waffle in your OneDrive, you can open new notebook. You're welcome to do that. You'll have the same toolbar that I have today. You can also download the new OneNote. So this will be the desktop version of OneNote, and it'll have the same toolbar as online and as the one I showed you today. So how do I do that? First, click my Start menu in the bottom right corner, left corner, bottom left corner. Okay? And I go to where I see the Microsoft Store. It looks like a shopping bag with the Microsoft icon. And I click and open that. It'll now show me all of the tools that the district has provided me to download. Okay? So these are all the tools that the district says you can go ahead and download from the Microsoft Store. That's fine. These are approved. Go ahead. Notice the icons look different.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're welcome to open it. I've got no problem if you open it. A lot of the same features are there, but it will look different than today. So this one right here, where it just says OneNote, no year, no nothing. You'll notice the icon looks a lot like the new Microsoft icon. If you click or install that, you'll have the same outlook that we have today, that we're going to walk through together. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
So when I pulled up the Start thing, I did see the, OneNote that said,
Yep, and you'll all have that there.
but in the email, it just says.
Yes. So they had a 2016 version. Notice the icon looks older. They threw it on all the computers. And then the new computers or the old computers had an update and new imaging, and it did not take the new OneNote with it. It took all of the other OneNotes with it, right? Yours might say pending. It's going to download. It'll take a few minutes. And that's okay. You can do it in the web version. Yes, ma'am?
Okay, so I went to the Start and I forgot to go.
Start, go to the Microsoft Store. Yeah, go down to the end, the Microsoft Store. It's a white shopping icon with the, yep. And then you'll see the OneNote. It's the one without a year. Okay? Now it'll say downloading. You can minimize, let it do its thing. I'm going to talk you through some of the features, some of the ways you can set up OneNote, and then I'll give you a chance to kind of mess in OneNote yourself. Okay? Now I did have a question. When I go to my OneDrive, if some of you have the same apps as I do, some of them don't. You have a class notebook icon, you have a OneNote icon. What's the difference? The difference that we talked about earlier. I create a class notebook here. It's going to create it and open it in OneNote. It'll ask me, do I want to create a class? Do I want to add students? Do I want to add teachers? How do I want to manage my notebooks? Because if I create a notebook, I can share it with the ESL teacher down the hall. I can share it with any other resource teacher in my building, if I wanted to. Maybe I have a team of teachers, and the three of us all have one notebook. I teach math, she teaches science, she teaches social studies. But maybe we all want our own notebooks. I know it's a lot of options, but realize that you have the choice to set this up the way you want. That's important. And then your students will follow suit. So whatever you tell them at the beginning of the year they're going to do, right? Whatever you tell them at the beginning of the year they're going to do or not do. I had a teacher tell me once, I never get all of the school supplies from kids at the beginning of the year. I never do. And I spend my own money, and then they lose it 3 weeks later, and then I got to set up the notebook all over again. Once you set up the notebook and share it with your kids, they can't lose it unless they leave the district. It's always there. You can share a page template or set up your notebook and share it with them, and it'll look the same for them. Now, you'll have some hidden sections, right? If you don't want them to see certain things. You can make certain sections private. We'll look at that. I can add a lock to a page. So if I want to keep kids' records, if I want to keep in my notebook all of my notes from parent conferences and I don't want the kids to see it, I can lock it down. I can create pages and sections for my reading groups. And some people don't mind if you go to someone else's reading group. It's either too easy, too hard. It's your own fault if you don't have your stuff in, right? But I can also lock that section. So group A can't see group B's work. You have the option to set up OneNote the way it's going to work best for your class. And I'm going to allow you that time to kind of look it around and figure it out once we talk about some of those features. Yes, ma'am.
So I can put my syllabus in my,
Yes, you can.
and then the student go to this, with the syllabus. What the syllabus that when I set it up and put my syllabus in, this student would have go in with a password and go to this OneNote. Is it set up specifically for this student, or is it just like the whole class?
Great question. If I had fourth graders, I would probably make one notebook, right? They can barely find their pencil sometimes, right? I'm gonna make one notebook, and I'm gonna have a section for all of my subjects. And one of my sections is gonna be a content library. I would put my syllabus in a content library. Why? Because that's the content I give to them. It's there. It's not going anywhere. But if you wanted to share it on a page so that after they read the syllabus, maybe you're asking them questions. How do you learn? Or certain things like that. You can send it to all of your students, or you can send it to just a portion. You get to decide. That's the nice thing about OneNote.
So you send it like through the email.
You can share it, and you can put your students' emails and share it that way.
And share it that way, okay.
When Teams comes back, you can share it with your teams. You have a couple of different ways to share it, depending on how you want to set up your notebook.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So the thing that I have, how to set notebooks, I see a lot of stuff in here
Yeah.
that evidently, my administrators and stuff I want to turn in,
Yep.
lesson plan, all of this is popped up. And then sometimes I have trouble going back and finding this, and put this, lesson plan in. And it's because they want me to put it into this OneNote folder that they created.
They probably have a staff notebook together, right? So that you and them have a section, or you and them have a page together.
I guess
That's how they have that problem.
They tell me when I put my lesson plans.
Well, I'll tell you that, and you can keep it between you and I, or share it with the staff, that's probably what they did,
Okay,
because they can open one notebook and have every staff member a page,
okay.
right?
That's probably,
Because you don't want 30 notebooks
okay,
for every child.
right,
Then you have to open each one for something.
okay,
Whereas if I create a notebook of my class,
okay.
I can share one page, I can share all of my pages, I can share all the sections, I can share 2 sections. I'm gonna walk you through the different tabs in OneNote, and then I'm gonna allow you to mess around with it yourself. Oh, I have a question. Yes, ma'am.
So if we install the updates,
Yes.
and we have the original, I think it's still have the updates on executive differences, so they would see and they have it implemented the same way?
Great question. It will format the same way. Their toolbar might look different than yours, but all the features will be there. We're in conversation about what that looks like for students, because a lot of students are getting one-to-one, and they'll talk about the one-to-one initiative after lunch today, but that's a great question. They'll be able to use the window. Because they can always go from the web version. The web version will be the same as the one you just downloaded today.
So I can have all of them log in first week and update everything.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna open OneNote and show you some of the features and some of the differences in those features. And then I'm gonna allow you to kind of mess around with something. And I've got a bunch of notebooks, I'll be honest. I've got a bunch, a couple of different ones. Like I said, one's for our team alone where we collaborate, one's the one that I made. So I'm gonna open one. And notice, I did a section for each one of these. And the nice thing about OneNote is once you set it up, it'll give you examples of how to use it. And you can either save it or delete it, that's up to you. But they'll show you examples of how you might want to set up notes in your class. How you might want to set up the notebook. You can always add and delete sections. So if you want to add a section, or like we said, sections are like tabs, just hit add a section on the bottom corner. Maybe I want this section alone to be for reading groups. Well, I got a couple of green tabs already, so if I right click on that, I can select a different color. Color I want it. Pink, teal, we'll go teal. Okay,
Where is that at?
great question. So if I have a section here, I want to just right click on the section.
Right.
It says, do I want to delete it? Do I want to rename it? What do I want to do? I'm going to hit section color. I am in class notebook right now. It's a tab on just even if you open a regular notebook, the tab will still be there. This is here regardless. These features, these first 3 tabs are all, or these first 4 tabs are here for any notebook you make. Yes, ma'am? Yours doesn't look like mine?
You got to go all the way through, I think is what it's.
Okay. All the way up. Set it up.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I feel kind of dry.
Yeah, right. You're right.
You're still downloading the new version?
Well, I'm just, I'm hoping why I'm reading this year.
Yeah. So you can just click new if you want to mess with one today. Yeah. You can just click new. And you can do like notebook. Yep. If I set these up by colors, it'll be the same for my students. It'll be the same for them. So if I say that yellow is
Yeah, that's.
social studies, it'll be the same for my students.
Excuse me, I thought you were in OneNote, but now we're in class.
OneNote has a tab called in it. It'll always have those 5 tabs. You can create a 5 notebook. Yep. I'm going to give you a chance to create one yourself. Because some people are still downloading the new version. So I just want to talk you through some of these features. And then I'm going to give you a chance to play around and create a notebook yourself.
I just want to put a fictitious food name here. Remember that?
Yes. I made a 4th grade class and I'm not teaching 4th grade.
But this won't let me do it. Say some of these names have you found a match.
I'm just showing you what OneNote looks like and I'll let you touch this.
It's gotta be what we naturally do. That's why I want you to see. It's a regular life.
You can hit launch. She can't.
We're teaching.
Hey Bronson, it's not letting her open one because of her office account. I've not seen that before. Some of you are still downloading the OneNote program, so I'm just going to walk you through some features, and then I'm going to allow you to go ahead and create a notebook yourself, so that you can master some of these features. Because some of you don't have it, it's still downloading.
Directly over, so it's going to automatically on whatever you use. You know, sometimes they always look for other applications. That's what that means. Like pictures and web pages, you can automatically. Let's go. You got it.
It says it doesn't have administrative access, but it's doing it in office process.
Hey, I'm on a 2-minute video.
And I'm not.
For email? She's using the web version, and I think that's the application version.
Well, we went into the.
So some of your computers are still downloading things. So you might not have access to open OneNote, but you should be able to in the cloud. You can open a brand new notebook or create one. And I'm going to give you time to do that in a minute.
And then they have the OneNote app, and they're different. Right. So. But if you haven't downloaded the OneNote app, which is different, the layout and structure is different from the OneNote 2016 version. They're like 2 different versions, so they're gonna look different. And it would be a
You don't
version.
have files here. You can
Yeah, so just try to download the new one.
2016 latest one?
No, you want to. 2016 is the latest one that they have, but you would like to use the OneNote extra, which is different. Is that a district computer? Okay. Did you go into the Microsoft store?
I apologize.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm starting to get questions on some of the other schools. Oh, no? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, let me answer some of the questions. So I was walking around getting people either in OneNote. Some of you started moving ahead, which is fine with me. But I do want to answer some of the questions that you asked in front of everybody so that you have the same answers. Some of you said, I didn't bring my DPS laptop. What does that mean? If you open that OneNote right here in your drive, you don't have to do this, but when you were here in your OneNote, if you go ahead and create a class, because you've done this here in Chrome, right from the hub. If I go down to my district laptop and log into the hub, open up my Office 365, my OneNote notebook is going to be there. And it's going to be the same as the one I did on my computer here. Okay? So that was one question I was asked. I think that's good that everybody knows that. The second question that somebody asked me, how do I change the tab? Again, you just select the section and you right click on a section and hit section color. Okay? That's also where you can rename a section. So you notice I have just a new section 1 here. I didn't actually put a name to it. That's okay. When you create a section, remember we said that's like a label or like the tabs in a regular notebook. So now I look at the second part here, which is add pages. I can add 1 page. I can add a bunch of pages. Let me show you what that looks like in some of these features so that I can give you guys about 15, 20 minutes to mess with this yourself. And some of you are really excited to create a vocabulary section. So once I've created a section here, I just click the add page, and I have a page that shows up here, and it's blank until I put something there. It's just going to be blank until I tell it what it is. Right? So I can name it whatever I want. I'm going to name it rocks for a minute. I know this is reading group, but maybe we're reading about rocks. I don't know. And maybe rocks is my whole unit. Right? So I'm not going to just put all of my stuff in here, which I could. OneNote has infinity room as you work through it. You could do that. That's one way to set it up. The second way to set it up is if I add a new page, but I still want this to be rocks. Maybe I want this to be a specific kind of rock. Maybe this is just the life cycle of rocks. Oops, I can't tell. Right? But I want to group my pages. That's important. Maybe that's how I want to set up my notebook. Again, you can set it up however you want. can move it,
Yeah, so they change.
I can delete it, I can rename it. But the feature that I want to talk to you right about is sub-pages. Make a sub-page. Because I want to put all of my rock stuff together. So when I click that, you'll notice that now my rock has this little arrow, and I can put all of my pages there. So now if I want to make a page, and I want this to be metamorphic rocks, and the next one I want to be sedimentary rocks, and the next one I want to be whatever it is, I can do that. You also might say, now you're getting too technical, and I just want all the pages there, and that's okay too. But you can take a page and make it into a sub-page. Again, I'll show you how I did that. I have a page here, and I click Add Page. Maybe this is going to be about animals. Okay, so that's what it's going to be about. I'll show you how we add stuff here in just a minute. But
Before you go any further,
yes, ma'am.
so what subject are you adding these add pages to? Are you adding?
I'm adding them under the reading groups.
Oh, because it's highlighted, okay.
Because it's
Okay,
highlighted,
go ahead, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's a good question. I'm adding all these under my reading groups because maybe I want them to read about science topics. I could also say, you know what, I don't want this to be reading groups. I want to make this science because that's where I'm going with, and I can do that. But once I've added a page, I can add another one. Maybe I want this to be ocean animals, right? I just added a page and named it. If I highlight a page like this, and I right click. If I right click, I can make a sub page. And now my animals have that down arrow. So again, sections are like the tabs or the labels in a regular notebook. In each section, I want to have a page. I can list all of my pages. Maybe every day we have a new topic. Or I can make sub-pages. Make a page and have sub-pages. That part's up to you. When you get a chance to mess around with it, you can kind of decide and play around with it. You can give every section a different design. That's up to you. But if I take this notebook and I share it with everybody in this room, how I set it up is going to look the same for all of you. So maybe for math, I don't do subsections. Every day is just a notebook. Every day is just a page. That's fine. But maybe here for my reading groups, instead of having rocks and animals, maybe it should say reading group 1 or reading group 2. And under the reading groups, they have subpages. That part's up to you.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
please confused on this question. I'm really trying to come back from vacation. So, let's say hypothetically in my writing, I wanted to add,
Right section.
I wanted to add, journal writing, like daily journal, like you have up there.
I've got daily journal here.
But could you download the topic so you can just display it on the board and they can see it? Or is this something you have to print down, not print down, but they see it on their system? It's like my classroom only has, my group has, well, last year they had 5 students.
Yep.
So I'm not understanding, how can I make this accessible if I want to use this into the classroom?
Good question. So I can add the journal entries here,
Okay.
right? Maybe this journal entry is, how was your summer? And I want to say you have to have 3 sentences or 4 lines, right?
Oh, what if you wanted to ask another question?
So I can put this here. Maybe now I want to know, this is going to be Mondays. Let's put this here. This is going to be Monday. And I can doctor this up, right? I can make the font different colors, I can change it, I can do all that. You're welcome to. But on Tuesday, I want to ask them, what are you most excited about this school year? And I can keep going, right? But now what? You have two options. One, you can share this whole notebook with your students, and they see everything I see. So they would have everything from social studies to reading groups, every page that I have, and every subgroup. Okay? Or I can only send it to a group of my students. Okay? One of the things that I want you to think about when you're doing this is if I share this with them, as the teacher, I get a notebook for all of them. So I can start reviewing work. And when I get to class notebook, once you've done an assignment, I can click review assignment, pick the page that the assignment is on, and I can just start reviewing it. Each student, here's comments, here's a grade, move on. But we don't have students right now because you know who your students are. Okay? Teams integrates with this. So once you've created a team, this notebook will already be shared to every kid in your class if you set up this notebook. So you won't even have to worry about sharing it because it's already done for you.
And did you say that I can set this notebook up and only share one page with one student? And I can share different pages with different students? Can I do that?
You can. That's under the class notebook. And we'll get right over there in just a second.
Okay, I'm not in that part. I gotta go back and get into that. I am in one notebook, but I'm in one notebook. I believe, but I'm not reading.
Okay. I'll come see you in just a second. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Over here.
Is it possible that we can just create a fake class together right now, like where you can walk us through creating it together? I know you said you're gonna let us play around with it and do it on our own, but I don't know, I'm kind of like a part learner, part whole, so I get peace and we do it together kind of.
I'm with you.
One of the reasons why we didn't do that is we didn't know who was gonna come in, right from the emails and stuff that are there.
Okay.
When we do this, we can get a group of us together and share it to the group of us that are over there. To let you play around with it that way. OneNote, like I said, integrates with Teams, so it'll be, the classroom part will be set up for you, so you don't have to worry about sharing it with anybody yet. But when we get to this class notebook part here, if a group of us want to get together and you tell me your names, I can enter your email addresses in.
Well, not to jump in, but when we started trying to add a student, the students' names came up.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess.
Are they from last year?
Yeah, but they're like my 9th
I mean,
and
they're
10th graders that are
still-
gonna be there. They're my 10th and 11th graders. So they're still in there.
Oh, they're still in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, so if we pick some students, we would delete it later. So I'm with.
Yeah, you can pick those students, that's fine.
No, but I'm saying I'm with county as far as if you just take us step by step, because I got totally lost. I couldn't figure out. Like, I didn't
From
come
here?
up with this, because you know what, it came up with me with a getting started with collaboration phase, and it just came up with a whole bunch of stuff.
So you got stuff when you got up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can start from there, that would help.
Okay, if you feel like you do not need me to go back, you can go ahead and start looking at these different tabs and the different features. That's fine. I'll group us all up together in just a minute, but I want to take a few steps back for some of our friends who need to go backwards. So go back in OneNote. here, right? I told you to click add new.
Wait, where are we starting? Are we starting with one now?
Let me get to where you are.
Good morning.
I'm going to the last.
So you went new, notebook,
No, I actually did it. Okay, you said going from here.
But this is where we want to see how to, I want to know how to get from here to there.
right? And there's a few people who aren't at that step yet, so let me step back for them and then we'll go forward. So in OneDrive, I went new and I hit new notebook right here. And it says enter the name of my notebook.
Oh, so you saying don't go that way as opposed to.
You can do it through the desktop if you would like, but not everybody's gonna do that.
Like, oh, I'm sorry.
For those of you who don't feel like we need to go back, if you want to take a few minute break, you can. If you want me to start back from the beginning, I'm gonna walk us through that part, okay? Because I know some of you are ahead and some of you are not, so like bring everybody back to the same place. So I was in OneDrive, I hit new, OneNote notebook. I just named mine 5th grade 2019, 2020, and I click create.
So the difference is that, if you just go directly to your app on OneNote, that just goes to your hard drive as opposed to in the cloud, right?
Yes, but you can connect the
I know,
two.
but with limited, that's what limited, you have limited,
So if I was in OneDrive and just click add a new notebook, it should have taken me here, which I saw some of you did, because a lot of you, what I would recommend is to understand or figure out how you want it to be set up before you set up your classroom. Some of you from OneNote or from the OneDrive created a classroom notebook,
Right,
right?
right.
So for those of you who are here, you're fine. It has the same features. It's just set up different, okay? So I'm gonna go back to the classroom so that I can walk my friends through what that looks like,
Yes, that's where I was.
okay? So I'm gonna hit create class, and it's gonna walk me through the steps. So if I want this to be 5th grade, oh, I already made 5th grade. 6th grade, 2019, 2020. So that'll be the name of the notebook for myself and for my students. And I click next. It tells me those same key points that we already talked about, that you can have a collaboration space, a content library, in your class notebooks. So I'll have a notebook for every single student. In that content library, that's where I can put my syllabus. That's where I can put things that I want them to have that aren't going anywhere. Okay. And then there's the collaboration space where we work together. So this is just letting you know what you're about to walk into. So I'm going to click next at the bottom. I can add a teacher, but maybe you don't know which teacher you're going to team with or which resource teacher, so you can just click next and go ahead and add them later. You can also do your students now or later. Some of you don't know who's giving your class. Some of you do. So I'm going to just click next because I can always add them later. I am not connected to a school, so I can't, if I start to type kids, I don't have kids' names here, but I can type in people I work with, their names. So I start to type her name, which is a lot like the address, the email address that she would get, and I can select that student. You might say, well, I don't want to add students. I want to create the notebook, I want to get my sections and everything together, and once I have my student list, I want to add my students, and you can do that. I've had teachers who will, all summer, they'll just set up their notebook, they won't add anybody until the beginning. OneNote and PowerSchools can talk. I don't know, since it's only my week 4, I don't know what that'll look like yet from them. If they're gonna let them talk or not.
It's PowerSchool.
Yeah, switching from my.
Yeah, that's a new website.
PowerSchools is, yeah. It's, yeah, PowerSchool is my starts leaving, PowerSchool is coming up.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yep. Again, I don't know if they're gonna link the two or not. I'm not a part of that team that rolls it out. So it's just something to kind of know that you can create a OneNote notebook. And once you know your students, you can go ahead and add them in yourself by your roster. If they decide to connect them to PowerSchools, which again, I don't know because it's only week 4 and that's not my team. It'll create your roster for you. So if you start to type in the PowerSchool name, it'll group all of your kids for you. Okay? Again, until I know what that looks like, I don't want to tell you what it'll look like. But know that either right now or later you can add a student or not. It then says that I can create these specific sections, okay, for my students. And these are the private spaces for my students. So this section will be created for every student's private notebook. Why is that important? I don't want student A to see student D's homework assignment.
Differentiate.
Well, I might want everyone to have a homework tab, or I want them to have a class notes. Okay, open your, we're going to talk about notes today, and this is where this is going to go. But I don't want you to see her work, right? So that we want that to look a little different. Yes, ma'am.
Is this also where, when you have those tabs and you're creating new things, this is where you originally started it from?
These are going to be different tabs, and I'll tell you why. If I create a homework assignment, I'm going to tag it as a homework assignment so it shows up in every kid's notebook themselves. So if I go to your notebook, I'm going to go to your homework and I can look at all of your homework that I've assigned to you. Right? What would that look like? I'm going to go to your notebook and I'm going to pull up all of your quizzes. So if I'm sitting in a parent conference, I can say to a parent, he's not doing his homework and he can access his homework anywhere. Or I give him, time at the beginning of the hour to work on stuff. Do you want to see what quizzes look like, or do you want to see the growth of how quizzes were when we started to where we end? Do you want to see what my handouts look like, or do you want to see what kind of notes your student is taking? In every student notebook, you'll have these there for you. Because they're only between you and your student. These ones are. These will be private sections between you and each individual student. And these look fine to me, but I can delete one or add a section, depending on what I want.
You can put on there some blank menu ideas, and every kid has a menu idea based off of the different regions.
Someone just made a really good point. Yep. If you set it up in a class notebook manner, it's going to preset some of these sections up for you. But if you create a OneNote notebook and mess around with it, because I'm not ready to set up a notebook, I want to use it myself first, I want to get comfortable, okay, now I'm making a notebook for I can go ahead and do all of the same stuff in OneNote, but I have to do it each one by myself. Does that make sense? If I do it through Classroom, it's kind of preset for me. I can make it all by myself in one notebook, either way. So you can go ahead and change these tabs that you want. And when I click next, it says, this is what it's gonna look like as a teacher. And the welcome page just talks about the features and the things you can do in OneNote. It's got links in there, so if you say, I need you to walk me through blank, it'll do that. You can keep your welcome tab or you can delete it, it's up to you. Then you're gonna have those 3 main points that we talked about. So there's my collaboration spaces. I wanna give those to certain groups. Or here's a space where I want us to all work together. I've got my content library, where if I want to put my syllabus in there, I can do that. And then you'll notice I added Amanda as a student, and her notebook is right here. So when I'm ready, I can go through all of Amanda's notebook. Or I can go through Amanda's, and Crystal's, and Krista's, and Justin's. I can go through all of those with you. Or like as a teacher, I can go through all of those. And again, if I'm creating this here in OneDrive, because I can access this anywhere in the world, I could be on a plane to Florida and grade student work over break. Because it's in OneDrive, it's there. I can go ahead and look through. Or if I assign summer work, I can go through and see who's actually doing their summer work and who's out playing too much. Okay? It'll also let me see what a student's notebook would look like. So notice Amanda will have right now, because it's the only thing I have set up, she'll see handouts, class notes, homework, and quizzes. Those are the sections that she'll see, because those are just the private ones between her and I. Once I've created the notebook, I can go and you'll be at that same point where we were earlier, where I can make a section and a page and subpages based on my subjects. But every student that I add will have the tabs here in a private space. So if I say, you know what, I don't like this. This is too many tabs for my kids. I can go back here to that private section and change it. If I want again, I can bounce between these two. And this will do, OneNote will do this for you if you do a staff notebook. If you create each class, it'll do this for you. So every time you set it up, it'll walk you through those. If I say, you know what, this looks good. Amanda comes in, she'll see a blank notebook, which is fine. I don't have anything set up in this one. And then I'll just click create, and it'll say, I'm setting up your OneNote notebook classroom.
You hit done down there?
Yes, I did. Or create. Yep. And it'll take a few minutes. If you've got more kids, it might take a little longer.
Okay, let's say you get a new student October 3rd.
Yeah, good question. In that tab, remember when we were back in the regular notebook? Oops. Here we go. Open my notebook.
Yeah, see, that's where I got messed up at right there. Yeah, okay.
Wait, why did we do that?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's why I was turning it around. Mhm.
Open it now.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That worked great. Okay, so for those of you who got the same message that I did here, just click at the top, open in OneNote, or if you want to open it in the web version.
Okay. So leave that add-in alone.
Well, I don't have permission to make an add in here. And I'm guessing you don't have the same ones, the ones that I do. So I just hit open in OneNote. and now it's open tier.
Yeah.
And notice, here's that welcome tab
Mhm.
that you can go through yourself or you can delete, but it talks you through a lot of the same things we did, and it has videos here as well.
Mhm.
It's got different scenarios, it'll walk you through those things, but again, now I've got my collaboration space and how to use it, I've got my content library, and then here's my student Amanda and her, oh, my mouse is, and her tabs here.
Okay. I think we're up to speed.
But you might say, well, I'm not ready, it's a blank notebook, what does that look like, right? Which you could do what we did earlier, just open a OneNote notebook, design the notebook, and then in that class notebook tab, because it's always there,
Okay.
you can do what we just did there. I know, OneNote gives you a lot of options, it's a blessing and a curse.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a 10-minute break or so,
Oh, you're the lady.
and we'll come back at 11.
Eat me for breakfast.
What if you needed to have questions about your screen that looks like mine? I'll grab my water. Yep, and that's what everything is. Oh, yeah. So this welcome is right in the section, or you can click welcome here so that you have video sections for like,
Almost half. So it depends on your schedule. I don't know. On Monday, you know, one seven.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna just react to how it is.
I'm thinking about doing this schedule.
The whole Monday.
Besides the phonics portion, they got other reading workshops. You know, you can't spend, so you try to go, okay, so you don't come in and try to get that. And understand that I can't be doing that,
That's home before you start creating assignments and when you're done, you want to copy it.
You're right, some of my kids, their things are comprehensive. I already said it. Just next hour. Along with I'm gonna do something. So I'm giving her hours that she's not using. She ain't come to school about the last month, about a month here. She was outside. Maybe she's taking us somewhere else.
Your sessions can be Shakespeare, or you teach. You could do that.
I see how we have.
Can, ma'am.
So any questions you would like to know?
You can add it. I haven't tried push list in OneNote, but I need to add it and also action.
That's why when I read that, what you said about it, I'm like, oh, really? I got my hands up anyway.
Welcome to the OneNote for Teachers series.
Like it's, does it have a theme?
So much she making some progress. She went from kindergarten to first grade. You think she wanted to sixth grade? You think she gonna be upgraded to get to 20? And that's the thing that frustrates me about special ed. Like, it's got the one exception on it. So she's CECI, and she's got to see her vote.
And then there's teaching.
It looks like it's progress.
Take vocabulary, if you got 10.
It looks, I read it when I was in second grade.
Please do blank. Right? So it's directed.
But he can't
First,
keep
I
up
want you
with
to
his peers. I want to put him in my room. You know what? I got to talk to my supervisor about that.
So you got
My principal push him back.
When you're done with your quiz, I want you to create 10 sentences. How we learn.
Because
Yep.
last year we got replaced. I think that's section. I'll get you.
If you're classroom has a projector, you can present your lesson plans on screen so that students can follow along. Let's present in full screen mode. If you want to include audio-visual materials, such as PowerPoint presentations in your lessons, you can project your files directly to the page with reference.
The other thing too is, once you figure out how to use OneNote and how you want your classroom to look, you may decide that you don't want to put a quiz there, that you might just want to, have, you know, also materials go to, get web address. You might say, I want you to go to Quizlet, and then here's the code for Quizlet.
If you have related lesson materials in other pages in OneNote, you can link directly to them from this page.
But like you can make notes and send it to them and say, okay, I'm gonna go through a PowerPoint here, and you can fill in the blanks in the notes. Right, so like you can make notes.
Presentation you just showed. Let's go back to the normal view.
You've added JSON, you already have access to it. You just created a tab for
To
JSON.
get a better view of the exercise.
Oh, in his folder?
Now, you can
Yeah, we're gonna go through that one.
with your class using OneNote to
What
log
you
into the
created,
your top class to see now.
you can distribute this page, and you can distribute it to the whole group or just one group. Okay? And we're gonna go through that.
Let's talk about some questions for discussion. Scroll up. The first question asks what fishing line is going over the ocean.
Yeah, look at that.
Let's try to be quick. equation to calculate this. OneNote recognizes the tabs in the equation and uses it as a calculator. Press Enter to get the
Oh,
answer.
I didn't write it down there. I'm talking about first rather than fourth.
You might simply want to print assignments on paper for students to take.
Now it's right there. Other things that I'm gonna show this next, okay? If you do it at your first time,
Go to lesson notes.
My baby, she got the real snack bag with the chips in it. We small fry over here, grab a piece of fruit.
She got the almond. I had to go get the pepper.
I know.
We just covered the window in the car. My window covered in the car, not some in the building. I have a cover in the car, but it's not covered. Probably why I'm not window cover in case you know green. Okay?
Might be smelling like a little brown in here in a minute.
Features the Pearson's IT administrator and office
I would like to overlay my direction. I would like you to make a second draft and make it clear.
I know, I was like, I was here last week, I thought we were gonna find I'm making around home my lunch and put it on the plate, and I went ahead and said to me, I was like,
Okay, to see what they're doing. I know, it's a trend.
I didn't know it. We were it was seriously, it was the experience that like picked me up. Nothing possible. You showed up, they didn't for me. And then we get them in the hallway, they're not down. You can create your blank notebook, personal use. We didn't just read the text notebook, I'm gonna just talk about some of the errors and then you can regular notebook, yeah. If you open a blank notebook, you can also write it in the class notebook, but the class notebook has these kind of All right, friends, I'm going to bring you back because some of you had some really good questions because you got excited and were asking me questions about some features, and I want to share those with all of you. Okay, so where we left off, we just kind of created this notebook, and you'll notice I've got this collaboration section. So in this collaboration section, I can keep the information about collaboration here. If I want to talk about it with my students, or if I want to delete it, I can. This is where I can add my syllabus. Okay? I've got a content library, collaboration space. You'll notice right here I've got the name Amanda. This is Amanda's information. This is what Amanda gets, doesn't get, what I want her to have, and here are different handouts.
So to add the syllabus, you would just simply.
So if I'm under the content library here, okay, it shows me what my content library is. I'm going to just click add a page, and I'm going to type in syllabus or directions. Welcome to the class. Here's my newsletter as a teacher. However you want to. Now,
can you access that only after you created the notebook, or is it something different?
Nope, I'm in that notebook. Here's one of the sections in my content library right here. Yep, they created this one for us. So you can keep this here or you can get rid of it. I mean, that's up to you.
So I already have my syllabus created in a Word document.
Perfect. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to insert a Word document into my notebook. Okay, I'm going to go up to my insert tab at the top. And you'll notice it says I can create a file, I can add, or I can create a table, add a file, add a printout, picture, video, audio, however I want to do it. And I can add more than one here. Okay? I want to make sure we know the difference though between the file and the printout because there is a difference.
Yes.
Okay? If I click file here, I can pick a Word, I can pick a document.
Right. Old school way.
Do I even have a Word document?
Old school way.